always feel this way. It's probably not the best feeling to always have, but I love positivity. Positivity is how you wake up in the morning. Positivity is smile. You know what else would make you smile? It's Tuesday. So guess what? It's time for Home Bars Live. And of course, we've been doing this for a little while now, so I'm not gonna bore you with all that extra gobbledygook about how long we've been on the air and all this. If you've been following the show, you know we've been doing this for a while. As we're getting towards the end of the year, it is holiday season, and 2020's been batshit crazy, you know. So as we were ending the year, it's always fun to share the camera space with some friends and guests, and you know this week is no different. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get the show started with Miss NaiWilliams, who is joining us live from her home in New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah.
Hey, hello.
Hello there.
Hold on. There we go.
Hello. Good. How are you?
You know, it's cold today, but I'm making it. You see, I got my little puffer vest on, dealing with this weather.
So you got a hot toddy. I'm
Yes,
guessing you might have just made that for one of your little famous TikTok videos, maybe?
Oh, I wish, but that's a great idea. Maybe it's time for me to do a toddy. I haven't done a toddy yet, but that's a good option. I didn't consider that. Now you put the idea in my head. That might be my next video.
So this is Home Bars Live, and we talked earlier, and you know, with a lot of people that are going through transition, you know, you don't always have all of your tools and all of your stuff with you. But I do know that you have turned the kitchen into kind of a workspace for you, and you've been doing a lot of really cool TikTok videos. So if you could just pan and show us a little bit of where you create that magic, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of what it looks like in the daytime. That's my sister. I don't think she wants to be on camera. You know, just a regular kitchen with dirty dishes and all. Like my grandmother pulled down this black Santa today. So yeah, this is a normal black household, but this is where I kind of do it. And you know, this space was kind of like perfect because there's this like island right here, and we got like a nice kitchen background, so it's definitely very like you could do a cooking show if you wanted to. So I decided to do my own cocktail show basically, but this is where it is. I can show you guys where I keep my bottles too, which is not fancy at all. So when I moved here from New Orleans about 3-4 months ago, and so now I went from having my own home to now living with both of my grandparents, my mother and my sister. So there's a lot of people in this house and no room for all of our things. So all of my bottles live in this corner. Yeah, there's my little tasting kit from my whiskey class. And these are all bottles right here. And all of my wonderful tools that don't have a special place. Like here's more tools. Like it's a hot mess, but you know, we make do with what we got. And I think that's just, you know, I feel like that's just a bartender thing. We don't always have what we need, but we make a way, you know?
That's real. So that being said, first I want to let you know that your setup is fine. I've had people shoot from their cars. We've had setups that were on top of dressers. We've had setups that were lived inside of we've had, and that's the beauty of it too, though, is I think that people think that as bartenders that when they come to our house that like we're gonna have this elaborate shelf full of all this real cool fancy stuff, and it's like, yo, I just work there. When I'm at home, I'm a normal person just like you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I you know, that's so strange to me. But see, the thing about it is I feel like I have more liquor now at my house. I'll go outside because it's so pretty and the light's great. I feel like I have so much more liquor at my house now than I did before because I have to do so much at home, you know, with how things are changing. Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah.
With how things are changing. And, you know, we've been doing all our mixing and shaking at home, or especially me with my TikTok videos. It's like my bar is like 10 times more. My bottle collection is 10 times more than it was before.
So now let's talk about the TikTok thing. First, let everyone know where they can find you. And second, what was your inspiration behind that? Was it just kind of you being at home and being like, you know what? I just kind of want to, I miss kind of being behind the wheel. Like, what was it? Because, I mean, I've been following and like, you make some great videos.
Thank you. So, it's pretty strange. So first, my Instagram is Janae.Angel. It's JNAI.ANGELLE. Let's go back inside. And my TikTok is called Trap Tales. And basically the inspiration for that was I wanted to kind of incorporate my love for trap music with making cocktails, because those are two different, categories. Those things don't usually go together.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just me like infusing both of those together. And funny story about that is I had this idea way before the pandemic started. So I remember being at work one day. I used to work at a restaurant called Compare Le Pas, which is run by Nina Compton, a really famous chef in the French Quarter of New Orleans. And I was just thinking like, man, like I really love bartending or like doing my prep to like music. And what if I could what if I could work in a place that does that? Like I'm not the type who likes to work at clubs. That's not my thing. That turn and burn life is great and the money is great, but it's just not something, that's feasible for me. But what if I could work at a daytime bar that does something like that? So I remember talking to like the kitchen workers, like, yeah, I want to like start making videos. I want to make videos with myself, like making these, fancy cocktails to trap music. And they just kind of looked at me like, oh, okay, like you do that. And I'm doing it and people actually like it and it makes me so happy. But really the reason I initially started to do it and I took it from, just an idea to actually something that I do is because I was getting calls after we all became unemployed. I started getting a lot of calls from people who wanted me to make videos and do all these things. And it was kind of like me just being insecure because I see all these really amazing bartenders on social media posting all these cocktail videos and all these other things with all these followers. And then they're picking me to do these things. And I was thinking to myself, like, if somebody actually looks me up on, my Instagram or my Facebook, they're going to see a bunch of pictures of my kid. And like no actual like cocktail pictures or anything like that. So it was really just it was my way of showing people like, hey, I'm not, they just didn't randomly pick my name out of a bucket to be features on these things. I actually know what I'm doing. And then it kind of just ran from there. I didn't expect people to actually like the videos, but they clearly do. So that makes me very happy.
So I wanted to ask you something because I think that as an industry professional, we often social media and that kind of that idea of how we're viewed sometimes through social media without people really knowing us. Because I can tell you, if you look at my Instagram page, Mo Cocktails, in the title, you would expect to see Mo Cocktails, but literally, I can't think of the last time I posted a picture of a drink on my Instagram, and then I can kind of see how you would feel like if someone was asking me like, what do you have as far as like, in your portfolio? It's a bunch of pictures of my dog and me taking stupid selfies. I mean, there's not really much I can offer. So with that, how do you feel that you just kind of, I guess my question to you would be, did you just say, fuck it in some ways? I'm just going to go out there and do it and see what happens? Or was there like a calculated way of doing it? Like, did you start with, maybe doing something on a smaller scale, like testing out a couple of videos first and stuff like that? Or did you just post them and say, let's see what happens?
So I would say I was just like, I'm just going to do it. My first video, my absolute first video, I'm not sure, I think it was on TikTok, but I posted a video for Cinco de Mayo and people really liked it. I didn't expect it to get that much traction. I knew it was interesting and I knew it was cute. I knew people would kind of be like, oh, that's so cute, but it got a lot of likes and shares, especially on Facebook. So that's kind of how that started. It wasn't something that I had planned months ahead. It was just kind of like, okay, I have this idea. Let me just go ahead and do it. But after the fact, because after the next video that I made after that initial video wasn't until at least a month later, maybe 2 months later. I think it might have even been like 3 months later. At that point, that's when I had time to be like, okay, I saw how that first video did. Let me kind of, make this into a thing. And or at least make a plan and kind of, develop a system to do that. And then after I did that, then, they became more calculated and I started thinking about how I did things more. But at first it was kind of just like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I want to. I don't care who likes it. I still really don't care who likes it. That's the one thing. I don't really care if people like my videos. Because I think the main opinion that matters is mine, because it's my name and my expertise that I'm putting out there. So that's all that really matters to me, is if I like it. And it's just kind of like, at this point, I hope that people like it. But it started out as something random, and then it became very calculated. And I don't think that's a thing that people realize about my videos, is that they look like real easy and quick to do, and they are easy and quick to do, but they take a lot of planning. Like, I've taken into consideration the season with my cocktails. Like, it's November, December. I'm not going to be making palomas and hot weather cocktails. I'm going to be making creamy drinks. I'm going to be making hot drinks. I'm going to be making things people drink around the holiday time. So I've taken that into consideration a lot. And, it's working for me. I've developed the system so far. So now it's definitely systematic. And I've, been able to develop a system to where I can do a lot at once. Because, with a 1-year-old running around, I can't just be, taking 2 hours to film a TikTok, because they take that long to film, just like critiquing and things. They take a long time for a 15 to 30-second video. And sometimes I'll just start my videos, or I'll because it's me and my sister usually. We'll just kind of like come together and be like, okay, what are we doing today? Like what kind of concept are we coming up for this video? And my sister's young. My sister's only 18, so she's been very helpful with coming up with just letting me know like things that other people are doing and that are really popular. So a lot of this isn't even just my ideas, because I have help from someone in the like the prime TikTok community. But yeah, they are definitely thought out, especially at this point.
So with social media, I mean, I think, and just with social distancing becoming such a big part of our lives now, do you see things like TikTok and, doing like the videos that you're doing as a way for someone that may not know who you are, and I guess that kind of goes back to what I was trying to ask originally about, a social media presence. Do you think maybe now more than ever that it would be maybe more important to have a strong social media presence? Or do you think that it's still just kind of, the luck of the draw sometimes?
From experience, I do, but it also kind of matters what you're trying to get out of it. So I also have, in addition to me doing the cocktail videos and just being a bartender, I also, during the pandemic, started my blog, everydayjenny.com, which is a productivity blog. And I talk about, give people a lot of tips about how to be productive and get work done at home. And I also did another talk about that. And my thing with that is you have to really know what you want to do with it, right? So if you want to be a professional, or you want to be seen as professional and get more exposure for yourself, then yes, I think social media is the best way to do that, because what are people doing these days? They're on social media. And that goes to my original kind of reason for creating these videos, or like kind of kicking myself in the butt and being like, you got to do this, because I knew people were going to look me up. Or, there's going to be people looking for cocktails and things like that. So if I'm doing all these things, I might as well be promoting myself in other ways. So if you're looking to like promote yourself as a bartender, or even just a professional in general, social media is definitely the way to go. TikTok specifically, I feel like it's geared towards a more younger crowd, but there's also, there's also ways to play in that. So the things that I've been doing myself have been, I'm not doing like these really like creative, out there craft cocktails. I'm doing simple classics. I'm doing stuff that, are good for beginners. Because, when kids, like my sister's 18, she's going to be drinking in 3 years. I hope. Or at least I hope she's not drinking right now, and she'll start drinking in 3 years is what I'm trying to say. But I'm not going to be trying to sell her something with all these tinctures in it, because she doesn't know what that is. But she knows what lemon juice is. She knows what, egg whites are. She knows what sugar is. All these simple things, that they can understand. And that just goes to kind of like, on people in general, because only 1% of the population is actually educated when it comes to alcohol and cocktails. So there's so many people who don't really know things, or even know how to order at a bar or things like that, or even what they like, because they're not, versed on cocktails. We are, and it's our job to teach them. So this is kind of my way of doing that, but in an approachable way. But I think for someone who definitely wants to become like a professional bartender, or is venturing to a new market, kind of like what I'm doing, moving all the way to Georgia from Louisiana. And also, if you're just looking to kind of like beef up your profile just as a bartender, it's a great way too, because it's kind of like, especially if you gear your social media towards being a professional, you can definitely, I would, if it were me, I would definitely cite my Instagram in an interview and, tell them, well, yeah, during my downtime, I may have not done such and such education, but I've been trying to, expose others to cocktails and just the bar environment in other ways, such as social media. So I think someone who is trying to advertise themselves as a career bartender or professional bartender, or somebody who's looking for a new job and is looking for ways to show, like, instead of just on a resume, show people that they know what they're doing, I think social media is a good way to do that.
That's awesome. That's real. That's real. So you seem like you've kind of worked out your whole process. So give me, like, say you were just coming up with like just a random video, what would kind of be some of the steps that you would go through? I guess maybe like for someone at home that's kind of watching or listening in, maybe you could give them like some tips and some of the things that you've noticed and that you've done to kind of make it a more of a fluid kind of a situation.
Yeah, so the first thing that I do is kind of just like take into consideration the environment. So it's wintertime, it's cold, people want to drink drinks that they would drink during the holidays. So you kind of want to do that. New Year's is coming up. So you want to, if you're thinking about making a cocktail video, definitely try to focus on the holidays and New Year's, or, just events coming up. In terms of making the video, that's really hard to say. So when I kind of go for products, I don't necessarily go for brand names, because technically I'm still unemployed. Like I get what I can afford. So it really doesn't matter what you have. And you can also start with what you have at home, Like when I first started making videos, I didn't buy anything. I just used stuff out of my fridge. I looked in there, I was like, okay, what can I make? But I still tried to make it geared towards the season, because I think the main goal for the videos is to get as many views as possible. So you want to kind of gear your videos towards what people are looking for in the moment. You don't want to make summer cocktails, like I said before, you don't want to make summer cocktails in the winter. You want to make cocktails that people are looking for, or that are popular right now. Kind of, insert yourself into a situation that's already there. That's the best thing that I can say. So for production value, it's really good to kind of come up with kind of like your step-by-step process beforehand. So what I do when I finally come up with my cocktail recipe or the cocktails that I want to do, I sit down, I map out the recipe, make sure I have all my ingredients. And then for TikTok specifically, I go to TikTok, and this is the point where I start looking for songs. Or sometimes you'll already have inspiration. Sometimes you'll already have song inspiration and you just need a cocktail. But usually I start with the cocktail first. So once you've got that kind of song going, and this goes for Instagram too, because, you know, reels are really popular. Once you find that song, you know, you figure out a rhythm, you know, you can match your moves to the beat, which I've done a couple of times. You can just go dancing. Like I've done a couple of times. One video, I just danced. I didn't even really make the cocktail. It just kind of like popped up at the end. And people, for some reason, really like that more than the ones that are very informative. But it is what it is. But yeah, you know, I'll kind of figure out one thing. That's kind of like what I try to do. I try to figure out one thing that kind of makes the video pop, whether it's something at the end or something right in the beginning to catch attention. I think that's really important. Also doing something that makes people want to keep watching or watch it again, especially if it's a short video. And then I just do it, you know, do my hair, put on a cute outfit and get it done and make sure I smile. Because that's one thing bartenders don't remember to do. And especially when we're actually like in the group of working, we never smile. Or at least I know. I always have a stank face on when I'm actually working.
So let's switch gears a little bit. And it is holiday season. So what Christmas movies are you watching? What are some of the Christmas movies that you either look forward to seeing or that you've already watched so far?
Well, I've definitely watched Jingle Jangle. Have you watched Jingle Jangle?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was a whole mood. I love that movie. And it's funny because my grandpa likes to tease my grandma because my grandma loves watching Lifetime Christmas movies, which is no-brainer, full of white people. And to have a Christmas movie with a predominantly Black cast, you know, doing African dances and, you know, just being really hip. I love that. I can't think of a movie like there's at least one, but I can't think of a movie like that, you know, to that caliber. And it was amazing. So definitely Jingle Jangle. The Grinch, of course. What else am I watching for the holidays? Oh, so many. Those are my top two, definitely. I also watch a lot of animated with my kid. Like, we're always watching Disney Channel, which is great. But
there was almost like this. It was a smile, but behind that smile, you were like scratching your nails on the chalkboard, like, oh.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's like you gotta just kind of like suck it up, you know. It is what it is. Like I can't change it.
So most annoying Disney show that's on right now that you have to watch.
Oh my God. So the thing about the young Disney kid shows, like toddlers and like 5 and under, is there's literally only 4 of them. Like on the Disney Channel, it's the same 4 shows every freaking day. So literally all of them aggravate me because they don't have 1,000,001 episodes. It's not a new episode every day. It's like, oh, what is Timmy gonna do today on, you know, such and such show? I already know because we watched it 2 days ago.
So if you could say anything to the Disney producers, what would you like for them to do with new content? Like let's hear it.
You know, more adult jokes because you know these kids ain't watching these programs by themselves. More adult jokes, which is a lot from Disney, which I'm sure you know because they don't like nothing adult, but more adult jokes and just more episodes. Dang, because the shows ain't bad. It's just like the same stuff over and over again. But kids love that. Kids love just watching it. My daughter will watch a video like 50 times. Like, why? You laughed once. Like the first 10 times, okay, I understand. But like 50, no. We gotta keep scrolling.
Well, I mean, I think at the same time too, though, the entertainment level of what these kids are exposed to is miles farther ahead than what we ever had. So, I mean, you know, if I had like this 4K digital thing in my face that looked real and I can't really tell it's not real, I would probably be glued to the TV too. You know, I mean, Ren and Stimpy still comes on sometimes, and I'm like, oh man, those were the good old days. So let's talk about the good old days. What were some of your favorite cartoons growing up? What like some of your go-tos?
Well, I was also a Disney kid, so Raven Simone, Even Stevens. When I was younger, like 5, I would run home to watch Power Rangers after school. I used to love Power Rangers.
But which version of the Power Rangers, though? Which ones? Like the original Power Rangers?
The first one. Yeah, the original one.
Just checking.
And the Asian Yellow Ranger.
Yeah. And how, the worst thing, when we look back at a show like Power Rangers, as kids, we all watched it and it was so great, but it was pretty freaking racist. I mean, Black Ranger was black and he was black dude with dreads and his name was Then you had, I gotta remember the young Asian girl's name, but she had the yellow.
Gosh, I can't remember either. And
she was the Yellow Ranger. Yeah, I mean,
and then they replaced the Yellow Ranger with the black girl. Remember?
Oh, they switched it up. They figured, hey, we can just put them in any color. It doesn't matter.
That is funny.
So outside of Power Rangers, what were some of your other go-tos?
Oh gosh, what else? I really liked the Olsen twins movies. I was a real fan of Lindsay Lohan too. So Parent Trap was my jam. All that, loved all that. What else? The Nick Cannon show too. Even though I feel like I don't know how many seasons of that show they had, but I watched it and I thought it was funny. Also, Kenan and Kel, loved Kenan and Kel. Gosh, and I was a Disney movie fanatic too. So like all the princess movies, I used to watch all the princess movies. Toy Story was really big for me too. I was definitely a Disney kid because my mom was a Disney kid. So we watched all the Disney stuff.
So favorite princess movie Disney-wise, because they've made a bunch. Okay, let me not say favorite because that may not be fair. Can we do like top 5, top 3 maybe?
Okay. Even at that young age, I knew like, okay, this isn't right. Like the way that the princesses were portrayed, even though I love the kind of like, princess meets her knight in shining armor, I knew like, why is this, can I curse on here?
Yeah.
Why is this bitch like, why she sleep the whole movie? Like, I don't understand. Or like, they really got this girl cleaning the floors and she ain't just gonna like leave. Like I would have dipped out. But I would say number 1 is definitely Aladdin, which isn't even a princess movie, which sucks. But Princess Jasmine was the shit. Like she really was. She was like, I'm not marrying just anybody. I'm gonna marry who I want to marry. Like even though I don't agree with her, like marrying the poor man, but still, she married who she damn well pleased. Right. And I appreciate her for that. Definitely Belle, because I was also a bookworm just like Belle. So definitely fell for her, but also, falling in love with a man who kidnapped her wasn't cool.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast is a wild story, man.
So sad.
But we won't go there. Let's keep going with your list. Yeah, we're gonna skip past that.
Loved Ariel. That also had issues, but we're not gonna talk about that. And I say I really liked Brave. And that's one of the movies that Disney made a turn on. Even though it's not from my childhood, I felt like that was a movie that I was like, yes, Disney, like, yes, you finally did it. Like you made a movie about a woman wanting to be her own woman, like not, wanting to get married at all. She just wanted to live her life. And I feel like a lot of us, especially millennials these days, we're not having that pressure of getting married and starting a family, early or at all. Like we do what we want to do. So yeah, I feel like that would be.
Chris brings up a good point as my producer. He's like, and they're all like 16 too, which is real crazy.
Yes.
It's
so young.
So my thing is this: I'm gonna just throw this out there. Disney's been around for a long time. we've all seen it growing up as kids, and all the movies that they've had have had some really messed up gender roles. I mean, where is there kind of like a hey, we have a moral like obligation to maybe stop pushing this stuff out there because this will affect someone. Like someone somewhere will pick this up and they may not know it. But I mean, because as kids, we learn things that we don't even know follow us through life.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I think it wasn't just Disney when they kind of like started, realizing, okay, like we need to actually worry about the impact that these movies are making rather than, just filming the same movie over and over again, just with different stories. I think it was a cultural shift, I think just TV and, like social media and just movies altogether kind of just went, okay, like there's a movement going on and we need to actually, put thought into the ideals that we're putting in these young people's heads. And I think, I'm not saying it was super forced, but they definitely didn't want to be left back in that movement. You know what I mean? They saw what was happening. And I think that if they didn't do that, they probably would have been left behind. But, people are going to stop going to Disney. But it's the kind of people that will stop going to Disney and the kind of people that will stop supporting Disney. And I think that was definitely a business decision, just like a lot of these other companies. But I'm here for it. It's something that was needed, And they probably along with it, and this goes for everybody else, they probably diversified their staff, got opinions from people who actually needed to be in the room. And I respect it, even though it might have been forced, it definitely needed to be done. And I can't think of a time, or I can't think of the time when it actually happened. But I'm so glad it did, because I wouldn't be want to be watching those movies with my daughter, or like, just have that same kind of archetype or the same similar archetypes in the movies these days. And because there's conversations that have to happen in Black homes that don't have to happen in other homes, and I wouldn't want to have those conversations as well. From the kids' movies.
Also, too, I just think that there is a certain level that those movies never really touch because they don't necessarily cross, like you're saying, they don't cross all the thresholds, they stay within a certain range, and that range that they stay in could be damaging. But let's shift gears again. You have a concert and this is your ultimate concert, and you are picking your opener, your closer, your opener, your mid, and your closer. Now, the parameters are this. They could be alive. They could be dead. If you want, you can make a super group, but this is entirely up to you. This is your concert. So
hard. Let's see. Like lifetime though, or like right now? Because man, I've already seen Beyonce in concert. I'm Beyonce stan, as most women. So I'm gonna leave her out of it because I feel like my first inkling is Beyonce, but there's so many other great artists. Let's go with people that I either can't live without or am obsessed with right now. So for my opener, I would probably do Giveon. Do you know who Giveon is? He makes this song. Oh my God, he's a new artist, but he's so good. He sings in a baritone, and it's like the most beautiful baritone I've ever heard in my life. Okay. It's the most like heavenly voice I've heard in years. And the first song I heard by him, I was hooked. My favorite song by Giveon is called Favorite Mistake, but his voice is like leather. It's so smooth, and it just like lulls you to sleep. It's crazy. My opener, definitely Giveon. Out for my second act, I'd probably say, oh, that's so hard. I'm going the R&B route, but there's so many hip hop artists that I want to say. I'm currently obsessed with her, the singer Her. I've loved her music since the beginning. Also, her voice is just so sultry and natural, like it's not forced. I just love that so much.
Well, you know where she out of, right?
No, where?
Go to the Bay.
I guess that's the indication of having talent. Who else? I would say, for my finale, who would be my finale? Oh man, that's so hard. I would say the artist that I definitely would like wait hours to see. Man, I can't choose. I would probably say, you're gonna hate me. I would say, honestly, I would say Ludacris.
Why would I hate you if you said Ludacris?
Oh, I don't know. That's the one artist that I've always wanted to see.
All this drinking gon' catch up. And all that smoking gon' catch up. I mean, come on.
Love Ludacris. When I was in high school, I listened to the Red Light District all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time, like every
Word of
other
mouth,
day.
all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's who I would say.
Okay, so before I let you get out of here, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for coming on. I got one more question for you, and then we'll let you go back and make some amazing videos. Cocktail like this for people at home right now that are sitting at home that maybe only got a few things in their fridge. Mm-hmm. Maybe you got a couple of suggestions that they could whip something up.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I drink at home, I don't drink the things I make all the time because some of them are very labor intensive. And sometimes, I don't want to pull out some egg white and shake it real quick. Those are kind of drinks that I would make for the family together or with friends, or safely with friends. So some of the things that I've been drinking lately, I would say is we always have ginger ale around. So I'll make either some Moscow mules with vodka and a little bit of lime, or I'll mix them with some whiskey. I love bourbon mules. I love them so much. Also, another easy thing to make are mint juleps. Just a bunch of sugar and some whiskey and some mint. Super easy. If you got crushed ice, add it. If you don't, crush it yourself. Super easy and super delicious and so simple. Also, my favorite ghetto drink is some pineapple mango juice with some whiskey, and I put a little extra bit of sugar in there, and I just shake it up real quick and pour it in my glass. So you can definitely do a whiskey and juice, or even a gin and juice. I love gin and orange juice. That's my favorite. Gin, orange juice, and a little bit of bitters in the morning is great. So great. Right. It's also a really good hair of the dog too.
Well, I'm glad that, we got someone else like myself, appreciate a good morning drink. So as we get ready to head towards the holiday season and Christmas is around the corner next week, and we've gone through a very long year. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people before we get out of here for the day?
Sure. I would just like to say, keep going. It's been a very hard year. And I think we need to give ourselves a break because the reason I've done all of the things, and this is to the people who know me and who don't, I've accomplished a lot this year. And I surprise myself every day by all the things that I've done so far. But the only reason I was able to do that is because of the opportunity that I had. Throughout this whole process, I've had help with childcare. I didn't have to worry about money. For the most part, I've taken care of myself and I've been taken care of. So the only way I was able to accomplish the things that I've accomplished is with help. And not everybody has that luxury. So and this is something that kind of bothers me a lot because I feel like people see me or see the things I do and they're like, man, look at all the things that Janae's accomplished. Look at all the things that she's doing. And the only reason I've been able to do this is because of other people helping me. Not everybody has that. Some people are really struggling throughout this year. And I think we need to give ourselves a break. I think you need to, we all together just need to, look at our situations and be like, look, these are the cards that I was dealt this year, and they don't look exactly like what I thought they would, but here we are, and all I can do is move forward. I definitely want to say, if you did complete your goals this year, good job. If you didn't, make a plan. And even if you did, make a plan for next year to be better. Like, I know we're really bad at keeping our resolutions, but the best thing we can do is at least try to make one, you know? Absolutely. Try to make one. And also ask for help. We're going backwards in terms of, you know, the amount of COVID cases and people in hospitals. Like, we really need to make sure that we plan. We need to be more responsible financially. You know, think about the things that you might need to make adjustments on next year or improve on next year, and just make a plan. That's the one thing I can say, just make a plan. Think about the things that you want to accomplish or what you want your life to look like next year, and make a plan to do it. And if you are in a position right now where you can't do all those things, it's okay, because not everybody is.
That's real. That's real. So, Shanae, thank you so much for coming on today and hanging out with me and sharing some knowledge, and also too showing the world how awesome you are. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Absolutely, this is fun.
So again, everyone, this has been another episode of Home Bars Live. As we get ready to head into the holiday season, December is my favorite month because, for one, my birthday is in it, of course. And then, Christmas is in, New Year's, and all that other stuff. But this is a lovely month for people to come together and be reminded of the love and kind of the that this month brings. So I can't thank you enough for joining us. And again, we're going to be back, same time, same place, same channel next week. But until then, we'll be signing off, guys. Have a good night, everyone. Day, night, wherever you are. Peace.
All right. Talk
And
later.
we hit what?